Hello, everyone. This is Dee. So, I have purposely steered clear of the whole Jussie Smollett incident. I I've seen a lot of people make comments on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Social media has been ablaze. All of the media sources have been ablaze. Everybody's discussing the incident and everybody is weighing in. Um, One of the reasons I made a decision kind of to steer clear, hang back, and kind of watch things as they unfold is because I'm I have two minds about the whole incident. One, I feel sorry for people who experience violence as a result of the fact that they're gay or lesbian, transgender, or any of the protected classes in the uh, LBGTQ community. I, I have often said that even if I don't agree with what someone does, we have the right to live our lives according to what is pertinent to our lives. It is not right for anyone to step up and physically, verbally, emotionally assault someone because that person is different from you. I am a Christian. I believe what the Bible says. The Bible says that we're supposed to love ye one another as I have loved you. It also says that we're supposed to share the word of God, but it never once said that we're supposed to shove it down somebody's throat, beat them up if they don't listen to it. It actually says be a witness, and if they don't listen to it, just dust the sand off your shoes and walk away. No fight, no argument, no nothing. Just walk away. Let God be the judge. Okay? So, because I have my own personal beliefs, I have friends in I have friends in so many different communities, lifestyles. Just I don't see people's lives and try to use it against them unless they're breaking the law or harming someone. I just see the person. I see their struggle, their pain, their suffering. I see the person and I love the person. So, with that being said, the whole incident with Jussie Smollett, it is so bad because somebody is going to be hurt and not believed because of what has taken place in this case. It really upsets me to think that he may have, and the reason I say may is because he hasn't been charged. I mean, he hasn't been convicted of the crime. He's been charged, but he hasn't been convicted. What bothers me more than anything else is if it's true that it did happen and some conspiracy has taken place to defame this man and to break him down and to, just make him look like a psychopath, basically, a sociopath, somebody who is very much focused on themselves and not focused on anyone else. There's too many question marks in this whole thing, and there's too much about it that bothers me because I wasn't there. I don't know what happened, but the police have laid out so much information. It's so hard to just say, you know, that they're lying and this is wrong and that they're just trying to go after this black man and discredit him. I can't say that because when you look at the facts, when you look at the fact that all of the things that took place, the fact that he was beaten, the fact that he said that someone put a noose around his neck, the fact that they poured a substance that they believe was bleach on him, the fact that they said MAGA country, some of the things that he said kind of didn't sound right to me when I first heard it, because I don't know, to me it sounded like a plot in a movie, basically. Honestly, that's what it sounded like to me. It really did. It sounded like a plot in a movie, like something that I've seen in a movie before. Now I know that these things have happened. I know that, and I'm from the South. I'm from Texas. I know in Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, keep going. We can just keep on going all the way over to the East Coast. I know that a lot of people, a lot of black people have been lynched. They've been hung from trees. They've been beaten and burned for no reason, just because they were black and because a group of white people felt like they didn't have any business being there. There's a town in Arkansas called Mena, Arkansas. There's a town in Arkansas called Falk, Arkansas. I would say probably about 15, 20 years ago, you better not be caught in these cities after dark and you were black, because anything could happen to you. These places were well known for being called sundown towns. In other words, if you were black, you better not let the sun catch your black behind in that town, because they would most likely kill you. And because they're out in the country and out in the woods, you could disappear and nobody would even know what happened to you. People would move into these cities and the white racist people would quickly run them out. They would either burn crosses in their yards, they would, assault the people, they would, protest them living in their communities. This is the United States of America, a country that was built by slave labor. So you got people walking around here who think that they are so much better than everybody else, and they fail to realize that they weren't originally from this country. Their family members didn't they weren't the natives that were living here. So just like the white people who have these racist issues in their own mind, that think that they should be the only person living there, just like they say, go back to Africa, go back to whatever country you came from, go back to France, go back to Ireland, go back to England, go back to whatever country you came from. Your people wasn't originally from here either. So you don't have any more stake or claim to this country than we do as a black community. So there is so much angst and anger tied into this particular incident, because he didn't say that a couple of guys beat him up. The noose around the neck is symbolic of lynching, hanging people from trees. I would say up until about 10 or 15 years ago, people were still coming up missing in the South, and probably still come up missing today. People were still being drugged down the street behind somebody's pickup truck in the South. People were still walking around, black people still walking around in the South, scared to go to this part of town or that part of town or that city or this city, because they were scared anything could happen to them. This is the reality of the life that we have lived. And for someone to stage this type of thing, making it look like two guys beat him up, that they yell homophobic slurs at him, racial slurs, and put a noose around his neck and doused him with a substance. When you put all those things together, you're dredging up the past. Right now, this country is like a powder keg. The fuse has already been lit by our racist, prejudiced, no good, low down president, Donald J. Trump. This country is already on the verge of some type of, oh my God, it's almost like the wealthiest people in this country are trying to usher in a new a new world order, a new society. In other words, subjugating anyone who is not like them. And the best way to do that is to incite riots, incite violence, incite upheaval and discord amongst the people, and then institute martial law to squash and quelch people. Well, see, what people don't understand is if the president ever instituted martial law, that means we lose our rights. So those racist cops that everybody's worried about, those racist people that may be in the military that people are worried about, that gives them the right to shoot you on sight, even if you haven't done anything wrong. When I look at this incident with Jussie Smollett, it makes me so angry because so many people are saying, why is it that white people, Barbecue Becky and all these other people, can call the police on a black person, start mess, get away with it, except for social media, basically spanking their butts and saying, no, we're not going to accept this. But Jussie Smollett, this happens with him, and we want to just rain down hellfire and brimstone on him. You guys have to understand, if this man intentionally staged all of this, he literally set in motion a powder keg that could blow up in every black community, in every community in the United States of America. Because if people started rioting and getting, start fighting and just start acting crazy for no reason, we have a president that declared a natural disaster, a national emergency for a freaking wall. What the heck do you think this stupid man, this idiot, this puppet, because President Trump, Donald J. Trump, is not a president. He's a stooge. He's a puppet being used by these rich, super elitists who are controlling him to get their agenda. They can't stand him because he's an idiot and he won't stay off of Twitter. But because he's putting in the judges they want, he's putting in those judges so they can take down all the laws that these people don't like. So they can try to turn the hands back and take us back into slavery days. This man, if he will call for a national emergency for a while, what the heck do you think he'll do if black people start rising up and showing out and other people start rising up showing out because of black maltreatment and stuff like that? So I understand the frustration of anybody who thinks, they're overdoing things. They're going too far with Jussie Smollett. He shouldn't be treated like that. He shouldn't have to go to jail. But this man could have instigated a riot, a nationwide riot. We're not in the time when Mark Fuhrman got off for beating Rodney King. We're not in that time. We're not in that time when they started rioting in California and they started burning down their own businesses and stuff. We're not in that time. Because see, back then, the president had sense enough to follow the law. We're not in that time. We're in a time with a president he is itching. He is itching. He would love the opportunity to say, this is a national emergency. We need to institute martial law, which means when he institute martial law, we immediately lose our rights. We no longer have constitutional rights. The Constitution is suspended when martial law is in place and the president becomes a dictator over our country. He can tell us what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and why to do it. And if we don't do what he tells us to do, we can be shot, we can be killed where we stand. Even if you're sitting in your home, minding your business, not doing anything to anybody, not even saying anything wrong, they can bust up in your house and kill you. Y'all need to get it together and stop sitting around here spouting ridiculous theories, because that's what they are, ridiculous theories. I see educated people going online comparing this incident with Jussie Smollett to Barbecue Becky. Barbecue Becky called 911 talking about come get the police come. That's what she did. She called 911. That wasn't going to instigate no riot. It wasn't going to instigate people to riot and there to be some big mob. That's not what would have happened in that situation. But this situation right here, with this man saying, they said MAGA country, they put a rope around his neck, bringing back the old days of lynching, slavery, of black people coming up missing, just literally coming up missing. I had a flashback of a movie I watched. This girl was walking home from church and 5 white guys grabbed her, pulled her into the woods, and raped her. Nothing was ever done about it. They got away. This woman lived her whole life knowing that this is something that happened to her and the law will not protect her. Is that what we want to go back to? Is that what we want to go back to? I don't believe every white person is bad. I refuse. Because if it wasn't for some white people helping me out in my younger and formative years, there are a lot of things I wouldn't have been able to have accomplished. It wouldn't have happened. It just wouldn't have happened because everybody that I knew in my family, my community, was telling me what I couldn't do. They weren't there for me. So I know every white person is not bad. But there are a lot of them that really are bad. They have evil in their heart. And because they're dissatisfied about their lives and the choices that they made and the fact that they didn't make the correct choices to make their lives better, and they want to put it off and pawn it off on somebody else, because of those people, we run the risk of being harmed even though we've done nothing wrong to these people. I've met people who were so troubled, who grew up in social dynamics that were so toxic and so harmful. And these people actually believed that black people were demons and that black people would kill you and that black people were subspecies and that black people were lazy, and they just believed all kinds of ridiculous stuff. And then they meet, because you got to take in consideration, just like there are some communities where it's all black, there are also communities where it's all white, and the only people they see are white people. Now they may see black people on TV, or like if they go to a bigger city or what have you, but if you grew up in a community where it's all white, and that their philosophy, their life is hate, 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 you're gonna learn to hate because you don't have anything else to base, you don't have anything else to bounce that hate and that fear off of, so you can learn to love other people. So when these people leave that community, go out into the world, and they meet other people and they learn, wait a minute, that was so wrong. It wasn't right. Do you know the internal conflict that a person goes through trying to figure out right from wrong when you grew up a certain way and you realized it was a whole big lie? Everything about your life was a lie. You question who you are. You question your own life. You don't even know what's going on because you were never taught the right thing in the first place. So all you know is what's wrong. So now you question yourself as a person. People don't understand. Hate it's not just on the surface, it goes to the core. There is often something going on in a person that compels them to hate someone else. Sometimes people hate people because, like, say for instance, if you're a homosexual male and you've been beat down and told that there's wrong, and so you learn to hate homosexuals. And then you just start targeting them to do ugly things to them because you hate what's going on in you that you can't control. There are so many different things that could go wrong when we allow ourselves to be caught up in this type of foolishness. To say that somebody grabbed me, beat me, called me racial slurs, said something to me about my sexual orientation. A racial slur, that's against the Constitution. Sexual orientation, Constitution. And then put a noose around my neck. That's hate. That all of those fall under, someone doing something against your constitutional rights. And so to frame it like that and put it out there for the masses, if this is not 100% true, it is so detrimental. It is so wrong. It's like, how did we get to this point? Because all of the communications that I've seen, all the information that I've seen, basically they're stating that Mr. Smollett was not happy with what he was getting paid, and therefore he in January 22nd, I believe, he received a letter, a hate threat letter, threatening death, and then hate for his sexuality, sexual orientation, hate for his ethnicity, and then for this incident to happen 7 days later on January the 29th, if he staged these things, he actually does deserve to go to jail, simply because he could have sparked a race war in this country. We are already on the brink. We are already on the brink. Look at the guy that they just caught who was getting ready to kill a lot of Democratic leaders because he so supports Trump. A freaking Coast Guard. Somebody who is in charge of law, of instituting law, of making sure that people follow the law. A Coast Guard. He had amassed an arsenal of weapons to kill people who were going against Trump. If that one person had that type of mindset, think about the numbers of people out there who have similar mindset. It's just they're too afraid to go out there and actually do it because they know it's going to cost them. But you got to realize there are black people out there too who are getting sick and tired of all of this mess that's going on. All of this racial tension, all of this, homophobia. There are black people out there who are getting tired. There are people in the, in the LGBTQ community who are getting tired of all of this mess. And when people start rising up and they like, hey, I'm done, I'm tired. If you gonna come after me, I'm gonna come after you. We can come after each other. When we start getting that type of attitude and it's prevalent out there, everybody's fighting, what are we gonna do? What are we as a nation going to do? Because our current government, the Republicans, and our current dictator, Donald J. Trump, he is just itching for an opportunity to institute martial law. If you want to lose your rights, allow people to keep doing stupid stuff like this that could cause a race war and cause all of us to lose our rights. We can get behind Jussie Smollett and say, yeah, we need to make sure that we allow the law this needs to work its way through the court, because we need to know for sure what's going on. But all of the information that they've put out showing the timeline of how things happen and the proof of the purchases, I'm sure they have proof of money coming from him to those guys. If they got proof of $3,500 going from Jussie Smollett to those Nigerian guys, I'm sorry, y'all, but it looks very, very damning for Jussie. It looks very damning for him. Because why are you paying them that amount of money around the time frame that everything happened? It looks very, very damning. And I hate to say it, I hope and pray that this is not the truth and some last minute, Hail Mary play come through to exonerate him. I hope that's what happened. But if he staged this, he deserves to go to jail. He deserves to go to jail so we can make it clear, look, this type of thing, we're not going to do this. But we also need to stand up and say, look, if y'all are going to put this man in jail for this type of behavior, that means every single person that do something similar or as divisive, as culturally polarizing, as nationally polarizing, if we're going to do this, we need to do this for everybody. We don't need this to be a Harvey Weinstein and a Bill Cosby incident. We don't need that. We need it to be across the board. If you're out there filing a false police report that could incite a race war, that could incite any kind of war, and you're lying, we need to have you in custody, because you are putting too many other people's lives at risk. We do not want to live in Beirut. We do not want to live in the Middle East, in the Middle East, in Afghanistan. We do not want to live in these countries in Yemen where they are constantly fighting back and forth, back and forth. You stand out on the horizon and you hear all day long, every day, because we done fell into a doggone race war. We don't want to hear that. But that's what we're headed to if we don't take control of what's going on in this country. If we don't hold our public officials, if we don't hold them responsible for doing their jobs, and we don't hold one another responsible for working together as citizens, we are asking for it. It's coming. Donald Trump done already said, he done already laid out the footwork. He done already did the footwork to make it possible for something like that to happen. We need to put a stop to this. We need to curtail it. Every instance of something like this that crops up, those people need to be prosecuted. Now, I looked at the laws for Illinois, and if they could have filed this as a misdemeanor charge, basically meaning that not a whole lot of taxpayer money was spent. In other words, the police out investigating, and nothing major happening as a result of it. Because this is so racially charged, because they said MAGA, that is racially charged, period. I don't care who you are. You say MAGA, I watched a white man get put out of a store, and a white man behind the counter was ready to whoop his behind because he walked in with a MAGA hat on and a MAGA t-shirt, and the dude refused. He refused to serve him. A lot of people, white and black, do not like that MAGA image. They don't like it, period. So it could go either way. It could be black, white, or a combination of black and white. So, because there's so much anxiety, animosity, frustration, anger, because our nation has become so polarized. They had to charge him with a felony, a 4th-degree felony, because of what could have happened and the number of people who could have been hurt, and because of the number of man hours and resources they had to use in order to track this down. It was a must based on law. So we can get mad, get our panties in a bunch, but if you break the law and you decide that you're going to go out there and break the law and do what you want to do, you need to be prepared for whatever the repercussions are. If another person right down the street from you go break the same law, stop at a stop sign or run through a stop sign, and the police don't stop them, how is it going to help you for you to run through that same stop sign, and when the police stop, you tell them, well, the other guy in front of me just did it. Why can't I do it? That police is just going to shake his head. He's still going to give you that ticket. Because in all honesty, he can do what he want to do. Now, he's supposed to give both people a ticket. But you knew better than to run through the stop sign in the first place. Quit worrying about what other people are doing. If they're breaking laws, you need to petition your congressman. You need to step up and petition those people who can affect change. You need to start doing like Martin Luther King, like Rosa Parks, like Malcolm X. Get out and first of all, help people to understand how important it is to get out and vote these people out of offices who are corrupting the office. Then also get out and get out and march and protest and let people know, hey, we're tired of what you're doing. What you're doing is wrong. You sitting there running through that light and trying to protest because this white man in front of you just ran through the light and nothing happened to him. That is the stupidest thing in the world. Oh, he got away with it, so I'm going to get away with it too. No, sir. We know that's not going to happen, and it has never happened in this country. So we need to just stop even thinking like that. We need to stop thinking and worrying about what the white folks have done and gotten away with, and we need to start forcing the people we have elected to do their doggone jobs. That's what we need to start focusing on. Quit focusing on, oh, Tom got away with it. Why can't I get away with it? We need to figure out why is it that the police department is allowing Tom to get away with it. That's how we make things happen. You don't make something happen by pointing the finger at somebody and hoping people will look at it and say, oh, whatever. No. That's not how we make things happen. We make things happen by electing officials, getting out and voting, electing officials, and by standing in their neck and letting them know, hey, we're watching you. We pay the taxes that pay your salary. We need you to do your doggone job, or we're going to vote for somebody else next time. That's how we control the narrative. That's how we take back the power. But if you don't want to get out and vote, you don't want to have nothing to do with the election process, but then you want to complain later on. Come on now. Come on. You want to complain. You want to do what everybody else is doing, whether it's right or wrong. And then when you get caught up, you want to say it's racial this and racial that. Well, you don't care about who's serving us. You don't care about the police chief. You don't care about the people that we can elect into these offices who are serving us. So if you don't care, why should they care? I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. If you don't care, why should they care? I'm going to wrap this up by saying, I hope and pray that Jussie Smollett did not do this. I hope and pray this man did not become so greedy and stupid that he thought it would be okay to stage something like this in order to garner sympathy for him or garner attention or make him look somehow, mistreated and maltreated so he could boost his income on Empire or whatever his reason would have been to have staged this. Let's hope and pray that he didn't do that. But if he did, he knows what he did. He knows what he did or didn't do. And if he did this, he needs to be man enough to say, I tried it and it failed. And ask for forgiveness and try to reclaim his life, because this shadow is going to hover over him for the rest of his life. So he can just sit around, everybody can sit around, and y'all can make excuses for him, but those excuses are not going to pan out, because if people had started fighting and shooting and killing one another, and then later on we found out this was a big old hoax, everybody would be looking at this different if another person died as a result of it. We don't need to get to that point. This is D with Black Conspiracy TV, BADTV. Thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure that you go ahead and leave your comments. I love your comments. I will respond to your comments. I want to know what you think. I want to know how you feel about this incident with Jussie Smollett. Go ahead and make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And please click the notification button so you will get all of my videos when they drop. One thing I believe in is diversity, and I believe in having the ability to choose what you listen to. Go ahead and click that notification button, because guess what? You may not want to listen to one thing one video that I upload, but I may have something else for you. So you'll never know unless you check it out. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for spending your time with me. I certainly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for visiting me. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and Black people, remember, keep your eyes open and your ears sharp. See you later. Thanks so much. Bye.